Okay, hi guys. I'm recording this pretty late. It's been a really busy few days today, especially. So I'm going to try to get this out tonight anyway. And we just read the book of Genesis. A lot of things happened in it. The beginning of creation and the first man and the fall of man out of a perfect world known as Eden, and then things slowly coming into development of the fallen world that we live in today. It's just a lot of different things. I recommend that if you're interested, I have a chapter a day series, and I have a playlist as well, and it's labeled Genesis. I try to get on there every day to talk and about the Bible and God and read from His Word. But I'm not going to lag on. If you're interested, you can find a playlist on my channel. I am reading both the King James and Message version at this point, and I put them in one video. I'm starting the book of Exodus today. I think I already mentioned that. Sorry, it's been a long day. But I'm going to start with Exodus 1 and where we last left off, because so much has happened in the book of Genesis. We left off at Joseph passing away and promising and really trying to instill in the children of Israel that God was going to visit them and return them to the land that He promised, which is at this point in time the land of Canaan when he was passing away. So I'm just going to get right into it. This is Genesis. Oop. Sorry, we're not in Genesis anymore. This is Exodus, chapter 1. King James and the Message version in one video, starting with the King James version. Now these are the names of the children of Israel, which came into Egypt. Every man and his household came with Jacob: Reuben, Simeon, Levi, and Judah, Issachar, Zebulun, and Benjamin, Dan and Naphtali, Gad, and Asher. And all the souls that came out of the loins of Jacob were 70 souls, for Joseph was in Egypt already. And Joseph died, and all his brethren, and all that generation. And the children of Israel were fruitful, and increased abundantly, and multiplied, and waxed exceedingly mighty, and in the land was filled with them. Now there rose up a new king over Egypt, which knew not Joseph. And he said unto his people, Behold, the people of the children of Israel are more and mightier than we. Come on, let us deal wisely with them, lest they multiply, and it come to pass that when there falleth out of any war, they join also unto our enemies and fight against us. And so get them up out of the land. Therefore they did set over them taskmasters to afflict them with their burdens. And they built for Pharaoh treasure cities, Pithom and Ramses. But the more they afflicted them, the more they multiplied and grew. And they were grieved because the children of Israel and the Egyptians made the children of Israel to serve with rigor. And they made their lives bitter with hard bondage, in mortar, and in brick, and in all manner of service in the field. All their service, wherein they made them serve, was with rigor. And the king of Egypt spake unto the Hebrew midwives, of which the name of the one was Siphrah, and the name of the other Puah. And he said, When ye do the office of a midwife, to the Hebrew women, and see them upon the stools. If it be a son, then ye shall kill him. But if it be a daughter, then she shall live. But the midwives feared God, and did not do as the king of Egypt commanded them, but saved the men, children alive. And the king of Egypt called for the midwives, and said unto them, Why have ye done this thing? And have ye saved the men, children alive? And the midwives said unto Pharaoh, Because the Hebrew women are not as the Egyptian women, for they are lively, and are delivered ere the midwives come in unto them. Therefore God dealt well with the midwives, and the people multiplied, and waxed very mighty. And it came to pass, because the midwives feared God, that he made them houses. And Pharaoh charged all his people, saying, Every son that is born ye shall cast into the river, and every daughter shall save alive. I'm going to go right into the message. These are the names of the Israelites who went to Egypt with Jacob, each bringing his family members: Reuben, Simeon, Levi, Judah, Issachar, Zebulun, and Benjamin, Dan and Naphtali, Gad and Asher, 70 persons, and all generated by Jacob's seed. Joseph was already in Egypt. Then Joseph died, and all his brothers, that whole generation. But the children of Israel kept on reproducing. They were very prolific, a population explosion in their own right, and the land was filled with them. A new king came to power in Egypt who didn't know Joseph. He spoke to his people with alarm. There are way too many of these Israelites for us to handle. We've got to do something. Let's devise a plan to contain them, lest if they're a war, they should join our enemies or just walk off and leave us. So they organized them into work gangs and put them to hard labor under gang foremen. They built the storage cities, Pithom and Ramses, for Pharaoh. But the harder the Egyptians worked them, the more children the Israelites had. Children everywhere. The Egyptians got so they couldn't stand the Israelites and treated them with slave labor. They made them miserable with hard labor, making bricks and mortar and back-breaking work in the fields. They piled on the work, crushing them under the cruel workload. The king of Egypt had a talk with the 2 Hebrew midwives. One was named Shiphrah and the other Puah. He said, When you deliver the Hebrew women, look at the sex of the baby. If it's a boy, kill him. If it's a girl, let her live. But the midwives had far too much respect for God and didn't do what the king of Egypt ordered. They let the boy babies live. The king of Egypt called in the midwives. Why didn't you obey my orders? You've let those babies live. The midwives answered Pharaoh, The Hebrew women aren't like the Egyptian women. They are vigorous. Before the midwife can get there, they've already had the baby. God was pleased with the midwives. The people continued to increase in number, a very strong people, and because the midwives honored God, God gave them families of their own. So, Pharaoh issued in general order to all his people, every boy that is born, drown him in the Nile, but let the girls live. So that's the end of Exodus chapter 1. I don't really have too much commentary about this one. It's just kind of straightforward. We left off in Genesis with the 12 sons of Jacob, aka Israel, and Joseph being basically almost Pharaoh, like, except having the title. Well, he died, everybody died, that whole generation died, and they were fruitful and they multiplied, and then there was, at some point some new Pharaoh came in, I guess generations later, who knows how many. But that whole story about the famine and all of that was just all long forgotten. And this new Pharaoh didn't remember or have no recollection or just maybe even never heard of it. It just wasn't with him. And so, yeah, it says here that in verse 8, a king came into power in Egypt who didn't know Joseph. So, I mean, this was just long forgotten at this point. That's how much time has passed. These people have been multiplying and being fruitful just like God had said. Just more proof that God means what he says, Like everything he says has to come into fruition, even if it takes a while. But, I mean, you can already see some of the things that he's saying coming into fruition. Just here in this chapter, Abraham's seed being fruitful. I mean, all of this from Abraham and Sarah. Having this large amount, of lineage living in Egypt at this point. So much that this new Pharaoh is just alarmed at how many, just how much these people are. And he feels threatened by them. So due to his fear of being threatened by them, just because of their mass number, they're not even doing anything. It's just a lot of them. But because of that, he's just trying to depopulate the people of Israel. And so he's making them slaves and having them build these storage cities. And he's even trying to make sure that the male babies that they have don't live. It's really interesting. That his fear is driving all of this. Because it has nothing to do with them. But it's just equally interesting that the midwives he's telling to kill off these babies are fearing God so much that they just don't do any of it. They even kind of tell a little white lie about why they were unsuccessful in doing so. And these Israelites continue to multiply, due to this fact. And God just saw that what they did, and he blessed the midwives that blessed Israel. He blessed them. It's another one of those things that God said came to true. Is like, I'll bless those who bless you and curse those who curse you. He's talking to Israel, the people of Israel, the Israelites, Hebrews, whatever you want to call them, Jews. And you can see here that this is what's happening. The midwives that blessed the people and the mothers and the children were immediately blessed. So it kind of makes you think, what's going to happen to this Pharaoh? Well, that's a big chunk of what the first part of this book is all about. And so I'm going to leave it there. We're going to go to chapter 2 of Exodus tomorrow. I'm pooped, guys, so I'm sorry that my video isn't as long as it usually is, but don't worry. We're just an introduction of Exodus, and we haven't even scratched the surface yet. This is a whole new storyline, and there's going to be whole new players in this book. Very important ones too. It's just a really epic book. So I look forward to reading chapter 2 with you tomorrow. I love you guys, and I hope you have a really good night. God bless you, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.